Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another journey on the Most High's highway, family. Before we dive into Exodus 23, that's what we're doing today. Let me set some shit straight right now, family. Yahushua, the one they renamed Jesus to keep you confused, is YAH in the flesh. I have been battling these Israelites on this for the past couple of weeks. I'm here to let you know that Yahushua is YAH. Same way you have in that TV show Undercover Boss. You have the undercover boss. You got the CEO, he dressed up as a worker to work alongside his people, his employers at the bottom. Same thing YAH did. But he's the originator of it. He came down, took away all his godhood, left his spirit in heaven, because he can do that, family. He is the Most High. And put on flesh, so he can walk with his people, so he can show them how to walk in the law and obey him. That was his entire journey, family. But y'all keep on saying these are two different people, and no. I'm going to do a whole lesson on that pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. If you guys are able to keep your ego in check. A lot of y'all still can't keep your ego in check yet. You're still mad. You still think I'm wrong. But the whole book has been proving me right. I used to think that too, just like y'all. Just like y'all, I used to think just like that. But the Most High has given me knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I had to humble down, family, and admit that what I learned was wrong. Can you do the same? The Most High is not going to give you wisdom if you cannot humble yourself. Now, a lot of y'all got too much pride in this knowledge that you think you know. You only know what the Most High wants you to know. You understand that, right? You don't have the full truth. I don't even have the full truth unless he reveals it to me, as he did with that. Because even I was blinded on who truly was Yahushua. It was him. He's the only Savior. There's no other God beside him. He said that all throughout Isaiah. He's not some separate entity, family, not part of some pagan trinity doctrine that Rome force-fed a lot of you Negroes while they were lynching your ancestors. Yahushua is YAH himself, wrapped in melanated flesh. That's right, I said melanated, walking among his people. So y'all need to get that through your head, man. So we're going to be breaking down Exodus 23 and the way your pastor, priest, or imam, whatever you have never did because they're too busy pimping you for tithes while teaching you everybody and their mama is Yah's chosen people. No, this Bible is by Israel. I keep telling y'all that every week. Sorry, crackers. Sorry, Chinese folk. Sorry, Hindus and Native Americans. So-called Spanish people. Caucasians. Sorry. You are not part of this book. You have judgment on you, yes, but you are not part of this book. This is only about the Negro people scattered to the four corners. The same covenant we still under because the blood of Yahushua, YAH in the flesh, remember, renewed it, not replaced it. This whole chapter is about justice, family. About how we're supposed to move in this world, about the festivals that mark our identity, and about the promise that when we get right, we're taking the whole damn planet back. So strap in, put on your seatbelt, family. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Shut the fuck up and let me preach. Because judging by the views, y'all don't like these chapters. I got one whole view last week. The Most High only allowed me to reach one of y'all stubborn Negroes. I have 89 subscribers. I was only able to reach one of y'all. That's saying something. The Most High is whittling away the trash, family. When he said many are called but few are chosen, he meant that shit. And he's talking about even of the remnant. Many of y'all think y'all the remnant, but y'all ain't. Y'all just cosplaying for a little while. Once your purpose is done, he will throw you back into the world. Like I know a lot of y'all have already gone back to the cares of this world. I know you have. You started out real good with your boy in the beginning, and now you're going away. Just like with Yahusha. He had them, the disciples, and everybody was following him. But then the lessons got too much. It started cutting too much. Too much truth was being said. And it whittled that trash down to only 12. Bunch of people left them, just like y'all. Most High has set it up that way. Only a remnant. A lot of y'all have deluded yourself into thinking you are part of it. But when real truth comes out, it cuts, it hurts, and you guys don't want no part of it. Oh my God, he cusses. Oh my God, he says a bad word. Who said the word was bad? You did. Man said there's a such thing as cuss words. Most High never told you nothing about no cuss word. He never said no words were banned. He never said it. He said, tell my people they sins and transgress. He never said, don't use this word, don't use that word. Man said, fuck is bad. Man said, bitch is bad. But yeah, y'all sit up there and watch Tyler Perry movies. You sit up there and watch Power and BMF and Snowfall. Got nothing but cussing, got nothing but sex all throughout the goddamn seasons and episodes of those shows. But y'all clutch your pearls when I say the F-bomb. Oh my God. They say fuck 15 billion times an episode. Y'all don't bat an eyelash. But when it comes to the word, now you want to clutch your pearl. Boy, the Most High got something for each one of you Negroes. Y'all think you're safe? You think you're in this truth? Think again. Watch what happens. Y'all see what's happening to this country. Just wait. It's going to get worse. All y'all who think y'all safe in this word are going to be tried. And tribulations finna come upon you. You're going to see who the remnant is, and you're going to see who ain't. Y'all think Exodus is boring. This is setting the foundation for you niggas on how you supposed to be, how you supposed to move, how you supposed to act. But y'all find this boring because it ain't glitz and glamour and no entertainment value. Y'all love the fantastical stories. You love listening to people talk about angels having sex with women and shit. You love look at the book of Enoch talk about big ass giants eating humans and shit. Y'all look at that stuff. But when it comes to real scripture, real things, real doctrine, y'all go away. You run away like a bunch of bitches. Because you want entertainment. Well, I'm sorry, family. This ain't entertainment. This is scripture. This is Yah's word. It ain't here for you. It ain't here for you to sit up here and hee-haw over. This is something to get your life right, to repent, to come back and obey his commandments. We giving you his laws here on how he wants you to conduct yourselves, not only towards each other, but in this crazy ass world we living in. But y'all don't want to listen to that. That's boring shit. This is too boring. We want some more stuff. We want some more fantastical stuff. Talk about the devil's more. Talk about Trump. Talk about all this. Nah, I ain't talking about none of that. I'm reading you the word, and I'm interpreting the word the way the Most High want me to interpret it. If you find that boring, bye. Go out there to the world out there who don't give a fuck about you. And let the Most High wreak judgment on your head. So Exodus 23, the real word for the real Israel. Sorry, fake Jews, you are not included in this. Verses 1 through 3, we're going to break these down. 23:1 reads, Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Look at this first commandment here, family. Most High saying, don't you dare spread lies or gossip. How many of you are right now on social media spreading false information about your own brothers and sisters? Raise your goddamn hands on that. Come on. I know some of y'all still doing it right now, even when you know your ears ring. Y'all sharing memes you didn't even fact check, calling the police, the modern day Pharaoh enforcers, on your own people with false reports. Remember when the media, controlled by people who ain't us, constantly spread false reports about black men? Every time a Negro gets killed by police, what do? They dig up a photo from 10 years ago of him looking thuggish. Spread reports that he had a criminal record, even if he didn't. Anything to justify the murder. That's a false report. They did the same thing with George Floyd. They looked in his past, trying to look for any type of dirt to justify that cop putting his knee on his neck, saying he was in porn and did whatever, selling drugs and shit like that. Did anything they could to demean that man, while the knee was on his neck and was murdered on live TV. That's a false report, family. And when you share it, when you say, well, he should have complied, a lot of you black pastors out there telling our folks to do that. Shame on you. When you say things like that, you are putting your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Look at Proverbs 19:5, family. It says, a false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. You hear that, family? You spread lies, Most High got something for that ass. Y'all think y'all safe out there, behind your phones and in your comfy little apartments, but the Most High can do anything in there. He can blow your shit up. I've seen houses getting blown up, apartments blowing up, planes coming through windows and shit. You ain't safe nowhere. Y'all truly think y'all safe in y'all house. Boy, I tell you. You one gas leak away from oblivion. He can make you leave the gas home while you're leaving home. Come back, bam, you light a fucking match or candle, boom, bye. So y'all think y'all gonna let you slide because you were just sharing what you saw on Facebook? No. In 2024 in America, we saw countless cases where black people were falsely accused, from college students accused of crimes they didn't commit, to the historical case of the exonerated five, formerly called the Central Park Five, who lost years of their lives because white people lied that they raped some girl. That's this verse being violated on a systemic level, family. Verse 2 of Exodus 23 says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment, saying, do not follow the crowd to do evil. Just because everybody else is doing it, it don't make it right. It don't make it right, family. Just because other people are saying something doesn't mean it's right. Just because it's a majority don't mean it's the correct thing to do. And this verse is powerful for us today. Because how many of our people out there following European culture, European religion, European fashion, European sexual immorality, European drug culture just because everybody else doing it? You got peer pressure all over the place. You think because all your friends are smoking fentanyl-laced weed or popping pill that it's cool? You think because Instagram models are selling their bodies on OnlyFans that you should too? Remember back in 2020, during the riots after George Floyd's murder, a modern day lynching caught on camera, family. That's what we're going to call it. How many Negroes followed the crowd to go loot and destroy their own neighborhoods? How many? I saw it live. White folks was shaking their head like, y'all burning down your own shit. Shaking their heads at y'all stupid idiots. And I'm not talking about righteous anger, family. I'm talking about cats stealing TVs from black-owned businesses because everybody was doing it. That's following a multitude to do evil. And it says, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to rest judgment. Don't you dare pervert justice just because the majority is doing it. When you're on a jury, you rarely get that position anymore anyway, due to the curses of Deuteronomy 28, 43, 44. Saying strangers among you will be the head and you'll be the tail. It says, don't you vote guilty on an innocent black man just because the 11 white people on the jury with you are pressuring you. When we get to Exodus 32, verses 1 through 6, you're going to see a multitude of Israel pressured Aaron into making the golden calf. Following the crowd led to 3,000 deaths that day. We're going to get there. Verse 3 of Exodus 23. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. What does that mean? It says don't favor a poor man in his judgment. Justice must be just. This ain't about showing favoritism even to the poor, family. Truth is truth. But let me keep it real, family. The verse here is regularly twisted. The system we live on does the opposite. They don't favor the poor in judgment. They crush the poor. When a wealthy European commits a crime, he gets a slap on the wrist. When a poor Negro commits the same crime, he gets 20 years. Look at the 2024 case in Louisiana where a black man got 15 years for stealing $20 worth of food to feed his kids. While a white college athlete who raped an unconscious woman got 6 months because prison would be too hard on him. That's the opposite of impartial justice, family. But YAH is saying even in our own dealings, we must be fair. If your broke cousin steals from you, you can't let it slide just because he's poor. Justice is justice. Leviticus 19:15, it says, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. And that's what we got to do, fam. It don't matter if he your friend, don't matter if he your cousin, your mom and daddy, they do wrong, you got to check them. No matter what, no favoritism, family. Beast mode on everybody who do wrong, no matter what they look like or how they related to you. You got to treat everybody the same when it comes to justice. That's what the Most High is trying to get through your heads, my people. So we're moving on in verses 4-5 here. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If thou see the ass of him that hated thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. This is funny, family. Perfect. What is it saying? The Most High is commanding you. Even if you see your enemy's property going astray, you got to return it. If you see him struggling, you got to help him. That's exactly what the Most High is commanding. But enemy is your people. They ain't talking about the heathens. They ain't talking about the cracker, Joe Schmo from across the street. No, this is talking about your brother. Talking about Tyrone and Keisha here. Enemy of your people. Because in ancient Israel, family, your enemy was still an Israelite. Just somebody you hold beef with. They ain't talking about them Canaanites or Edomites. This is about your own people. How many of you would drive past your enemy's car broken down on the side of the road and laugh? How many of you see another black person struggling and think, good, I hope they fail? Because you got some petty beef. Yahushua reinforced this in Matthew 5:44. Says, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Love your brothers and sisters, family. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. But these crackers, they have taken this verse, and now they want us to apply it to them because of what they did. No, no, no. This is about your people. We don't love crackers around here. We don't love Asians around here. So-called Spanish folk, the white ones, that is. We only love black people around here. Which is why I go through my trouble of trying to wake these people up. If I didn't love them, I would let them rot. But then the blood would be on my hands. So I am required to speak truth to them because I don't want to see them dusted on the day of judgment. Going into nothingness. But they call me uncaring because I tell them the truth. But if I didn't care for them, I wouldn't tell them shit. I would allow them stay in that ditch, that spiritual ditch that they in, and allow them to die in it. But if I have the chance to speak a little truth to them, I'm going to take it. Because that is what's commanded of me, to help my brother. Even if they my so-called enemy, I still help them. That's what the Most High is trying to get through your thick skulls, black people. Y'all too busy at each other's throats to realize this. So in 2019 in Atlanta, a black police officer was fired after viral video showed him helping a black suspect fix his tie before a court appearance. The department said it was inappropriate fraternization. Ain't that some shit? But that officer understood this principle. Even though that brother was an enemy, a suspect, he showed him humanity. But he got fired. Or look at Daryl Davis, the black musician who befriended KKK members and got over 200 to lead the Klan. He applied this principle to actual racial enemies and broke demonic strongholds of hatred. But most of y'all can't even help your own cousin who talked about you at the family reunion. Romans 12:20 says, therefore if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. This is the principle that a lot of you Israelites don't want to apply in your life. You think because you got beef with somebody that you don't got to do nothing with them. But the Most High is telling you differently here. This is what he's saying. In verse 6 of Exodus 23. Thou shalt not rest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Here's where Yah says, don't pervert justice against the poor. And it balances with verse 3. It says, be impartial in verse 3, but don't you dare systematically oppress the poor in verse 6. And ain't this the story of Negro people worldwide in 2025, family? Our justice is constantly perverted. Let's talk about the cash bail system in America, modern day Egypt. If you're poor and black, you sit in Rikers Island for years awaiting trial for a crime you might not have even committed, just because you can't afford $500 bail. Meanwhile, wealthy Europeans commit actual crimes and bail out same day. In 2023, it was revealed that in New York, black defendants were set bail at amounts 35% higher than white defendants for the same crime. That's perverting the justice and the judgment of the poor. Go to South Africa, the very land many of our people were trafficked from. During the slave trade, yes, Negroes were in Southern Africa too, not just West Africa, family. The black majority is still economically oppressed over there, living in shacks while the white minority holds the wealth. Their justice system still favors the wealthy whites over the poor blacks. Amos 5:12 says, for I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor and negate from their right because they can't bribe them. They can't give them money. They don't deserve to have justice because they can't afford to give them money, to give them a bribe. This is why the Most High destroyed our ancestors back then, family. Isaiah 10:1-2. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, talking to them Israelite leaders, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. That's the American legal system today. That's the British legal system today. That's the entire Western judicial structure built on Roman law, not Yah's law. If you don't got the money, you ain't gonna win your case. It comes down to who got the money now, family. It don't come down to who's right and wrong. It comes down to who got the most money. That is what's happened in this world today. That's why there is no justice, because it came about money. Judges being bribed. Judges being bribed. You're supposed to be the ultimate judge. You're supposed to be the one to hand out the sentencing, but you taking money. You are taking bribes behind the back, perverting justice for your greed. You got lawyers taking on defendants who they know murdered, who they know did the crime, but they sitting up there trying to get them off. Perverting justice, family. All for the almighty dollar. A piece of useless paper that you guys bow your heads to each and every day, and you don't even know. Verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. Saying, stay far away from lying, family, and don't you kill innocent people. Let me bring the heat, family. Every lynching of black people from Reconstruction through the Civil Rights era and beyond, we still got niggas getting lynched today, was a violation of this commandment right here. Over 4,000 documented lynchings of Negroes in America alone from 1877 to 1950. Innocent people killed based on false accusations. Emmett Till, 1955, 14 years old, tortured and murdered for allegedly whistling at a white woman. She admitted in 2017 on her deathbed that she lied. That's a false matter leading to the death of the innocent. Breonna Taylor, y'all remember her back in 2020? Sleeping in her bed, killed by police in a no-knock raid on the wrong house. Innocent and righteous slain. And YAH says, I will not justify the wicked. That means every cop, every judge, every juror, every prosecutor who participated in these murders, YAH will not justify them. You are guilty. Guilty. Proverbs 17:15. He that justified the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to YAH. You hear that? You take up for the ones who actually did the crime against the people who actually had the crime committed on them. The Most High says you are an abomination. But it goes deeper, family. How many of you are accessories to this by your silence, by your it's not my problem attitude, by your I don't want to get involved? And in 2024, family, we saw countless viral videos of Negroes being brutalized while bystanders just recorded on their phones like a bunch of sheep. When you do nothing while the innocent are slain, you violate this commandment too. Yeah, you held guilty. The Most High will not justify your bitch ass either. You seeing your brother get beat up by white folks and shit like that, and you sitting there recording on your phone saying, World Star! World Star! Most High gonna get your black ass too. Cause I guarantee you, you will want somebody to help your ass out if you getting jumped by crackers. Yeah, you would. The blood of the innocent cries out from the ground like Abel's in Genesis 4:10, family. And they will be heard. They will be heard. Verse 8, there's a big one here. No bribes. And thou shalt take no gift. For the gift blinded the wise and perverted the words of the righteous. A bribe blinds even the wise and perverts justice is what it's saying. This is the entire political system of the modern world. Politicians take campaign donations, i.e. bribes, from corporations and special interests, then pass laws that benefit those donors at the expense of the people. That's why these people, they leave the office rich. They go in with an average income, average net worth, and then they come out with net worth in the millions because they pervert justice. They take bribes. It's all about who got money, family. Money is power in this world. If you don't got it, you got no power. You're not going to have nobody represent you in your case because you ain't got no money. If they can extract money from you, you are nothing to them. In 2024, family, black communities in America are food deserts. No grocery stores with fresh produce, but liquor stores on every corner. Why? Because liquor companies lobby politicians to zone it that way. That's gifts, blind and wise men, and perverting the words of the righteous. Look at Africa, our ancestral homeland, the richest continent in natural resources, yet the poorest in wealth distribution. Why? Because European and Asian corporations bribe African leaders, many of whom are puppets anyway, not true Israelites in power, to exploit the land while their people starve. The 2023 scandal in South Africa, if you guys would go look it up, where it was revealed that politicians received millions in quote-unquote gifts from the Gupta family in exchange for state contracts. That's this verse right here. Deuteronomy 16:19 says the same thing. Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. Even in our own communities, how many black pastors pimp the pulpit, taking money from politicians to tell you who to vote for. Y'all see them out there telling you to vote for Biden. Some of them telling you to vote for Trump. They ain't telling you. They got paid handsomely to tell you that. Telling you it coming from God to go vote for Trump. Most High told you do not vote for people that don't look like you. So why you believe in this pastor here? He got paid handsomely by these politicians to tell you who to vote for. You ain't getting paid shit. How many community leaders sell out their own people for a seat at the table with the oppressor? How many? That's a bribe, family. Sell their soul to go sit at the adult table. And even then, you still ain't giving no real power anyways at that table. You still a nigga in their eyes. Now you just a nigga with money. Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. You can't bribe the Most High though. You can bribe man, but you can't bribe him, rich folk. Your money will not save you. When you die, so does your money. It go to somebody else. See you later, alligator. Verse 9. And thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Don't oppress a stranger, the foreigner, the sojourner, because you were strangers in Egypt. Now this gets twisted today. People use this to promote open borders and unlimited immigration. That's not what this is saying. This is about treating foreigners with justice while they are in your land, not giving away your inheritance. But here's the powerful part for us Negroes. We are the strangers now. We're strangers in America, not our land. Strangers in Caribbean, not our land. Strangers in South America, not our land. Strangers in Europe, definitely not our land. We were brought to these places in chains. So when you oppress another stranger, immigrant, refugee, you're doing to them what's been done to you. I've seen Negroes in America talk trash about Mexicans, Haitians, other immigrants, but you are an immigrant. Your ancestors didn't come here voluntarily. You got more in common with that undocumented worker than you do with the system oppressing both of you. In 2024, family, we saw mass deportations and family separations at the U.S.-Mexico border. Many Negroes cheered this on. Many. Not realizing that Deuteronomy 28:68 prophesied about us. And YAH shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way thereof. I speak unto thee, thou shalt not see it any more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. We were brought back into slavery. Egypt is symbolic of bondage. By ships, the middle passage, we were sold. No man shall buy you. At the end of slavery, we were freed, not because people's heart changed, but because we became unprofitable. So when you oppress a stranger, you forget your own oppression. Leviticus 19:30-34. And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him, but the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and that thou shalt love him as thyself, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am YAH, your Elohim. Verses 10-11. Exodus 23. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard. Every 7th year, let the land rest. Don't plant, don't harvest commercially. Let it grow wild so the poor can eat freely, and even the animals can eat. This is economic justice and environmental sustainability wrapped in one commandment. Modern agriculture is destroying the earth. Monsanto, now bare, and other corporations pump the soil full of chemicals, genetically modify seeds so they can't reproduce, forcing farmers to buy new seeds every year, and strip the land of nutrients. The result, depleted soil, poisoned water, and food with no nutritional value. Simple. In 2024, family, it was reported that the topsoil erosion could make industrial agriculture impossible within 60 years. We are destroying the very earth Yah gave us because we reject this wisdom right here. But look at the social justice aspect. The poor can eat during the Sabbath year. There is no private property restrictions during this time. If you're hungry, go to any field and eat. Can you imagine if America implemented this? If every 7 years, all the corporate farms had to let their land rest and the homeless, the poor, the struggling could just go and eat. But no, in 2025, it's illegal to feed the homeless in many American cities. In 2024, family, a man in Texas was arrested for giving food to homeless people in a public park. That's the opposite of Yah's law here. Leviticus 25, 1-7 expands on this, including letting Hebrew servants go free every 7 years and forgiving debts. This is why some of y'all have y'all debts going away every 7 years, in 7 years from the time you had it. It goes away off your credit report. That's the grace period. Where does that come from? This right here. Imagine if student loans, medical debts, credit card debt were forgiven every 7 years. Our people would be free. Some of them do. It happened with my student loan. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. But the system, family, is designed to keep you in perpetual debt, in perpetual bondage, in perpetual Egypt. So you will always be what? A slave to them. You would always be dependent on them. Verse 12, 6 days shalt do thy work. And on the 7th day, that's today, thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. The 7th day, Sabbath, Saturday, not Sunday. Sunday worship is a pagan Roman invention instituted by Constantine in 321 AD. The Sabbath has always been Saturday from creation, all the way back in Genesis 2, until now. But beyond the day itself, look at the purpose. Rest for everyone, even your animals, even your servants, even the foreigners among you. This is about human dignity, family, and mental health. In 2025, our people are exhausted, working 2 and 3 jobs just to survive, never resting, never refreshing, burning out mentally and physically. The World Health Organization reported in 2024, family, that burnout is at epidemic levels, especially among marginalized community, i.e. Negro people. Depression, anxiety, suicide, all connected to this rat race system that never lets you rest. You got to always be hustling. That's what they tell you. Hustle, hustle hard, hustle this, do that, do this, get your bag, sis. This is what they always tell you, but they never tell you to rest. Constant movement. And you're burning yourself out. I see you on social media. Oh, I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of this. We make all this money, but we never get to keep it because it always goes back to them anyway. No shit, Sherlock. Yah commanded rest. And when we rest on his Sabbath, like we doing today, if you are doing it, we are making a statement. We're saying we trust Yah to provide, not this Babylonian system. I've seen Negroes work themselves to death, literally. Heart attack, strokes, all because they wouldn't rest. And for what? To make some European CEO richer? Mark 2:7, Yahushua said the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. It's a gift, family, not a burden. The Most High wants you to take a break. Don't y'all want to take a break? Don't y'all want to take it easy? Yet, most of you worship on Sunday. Named after the sun god. Pagan, family. Go to church for 1 hour, then go shopping, go to brunch, do yard work. That ain't rest. That ain't the Sabbath. Isaiah 58:13-14 says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yah honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yah, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. For the mouth of Yah hath spoken it. You got to make this a delight. You got to want the Sabbath to come, to rest in the Most High, to be in this word, to get knowledge and wisdom, to just take it easy, to take a break. You got to want to delight in this. You got to want this to happen every week. And the Most High said, if you do that, I'm going to bless you. Don't y'all want to be blessed, family? Verse 13, no other gods. In all things that I have said unto you, be circumcised or circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. That's what he's saying. Don't even mention them, because when you do that, what are you doing when you do this? You're calling on Yahushua, or Jesus as y'all call him, a Greek name that didn't exist until the 1600s. Worshipped on Sunday, the sun god's day, celebrating Christ Mass, a pagan Roman winter festival, family. Celebrating Ishtar, Easter, the fertility goddess. You mentioning other gods constantly and don't even know it. The names of the days of the week: Sunday, sun god; Monday, moon god; Tuesday, TIW, Mars; Wednesday, Woden, Odin; Thursday, Thor; Friday, Freya; Saturday, Saturn. Every time you say these days, you mentioning pagan gods. The months: January, Janus; March, Mars; May, Maya; June, Juno. Pagan gods. But it's deeper than that. What about your real gods? Money, sex, fame, social media likes. Your children. Yes, you can make your kids an idol. You didn't know that. Your career. Matthew 6:24 says, no man can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Yah and Mammon. In 2024, Negroes chase money, fame, and pleasure while claiming to love Yah. I've watched them. You can't serve both, family. You're either all in with Yah's laws and commandments, or you're serving other gods. Simple as that. Look at the music industry. How many of our talented brothers and sisters sold their souls, literally signed contracts that own their image and creativity for fame? Looking at you, Beyonce, Jay-Z. That's serving another god, family. The pharmaceutical industry. You trust more in pills than in Yah's natural healing and his promises. That's another god. The government. You think they're going to save you with programs and policies, family? That's another god. Jeremiah 10:2 says, thus saith Yah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. And then the next three verses, you got the three feasts. Verse 14, 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. The feast of Yah, right here. Not Christmas, not Easter, not Thanksgiving, a lie celebrating genocide of indigenous people, family. But Yah's appointed times. Verse 15, thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month, Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. The feast of unleavened bread connected to Passover, celebrating the exodus from Egypt, slavery, bondage. This is in the spring, in the month of Abib, March or April. For us Negroes, this is prophetic because we came out of our Egypt, slavery in the Americas, the Caribbean, but we're still in the wilderness of disobedience. We haven't entered the promised land yet. But the feast reminds us that Yah delivered our ancestors from Egypt, and he will deliver us when we return to his laws. But too many of y'all are too stubborn and knuckle-headed to do this. Leaven represents sin. That's what Paul told you in 1 Corinthians 5, 7, and 8. For 7 days, no leaven, symbolizing getting sin out of your life. But how many of you still got leaven all through your house, all through your life? Still watching porn, still fornicating, still lying, stealing, cursing Yah's name. And it says, None shall appear before me empty. Bring an offering. Don't come before Yah with empty hands. In 2024, I see Negroes quick to spend $300 on sneakers, $1,000 on the phone today. But when it comes to supporting true teachers of the word or helping their own people, they broke. You come before Yah empty-handed, but your pocket's full for the world. That's the craziness right here. You know who you are. Y'all know who do it. So that's what's happening, family. Right there. Exodus 23:16, the first part. In the feast of the harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field. The feast of harvest, family, also called Shavuot or Pentecost, celebrating the first fruits. This is in late spring, early summer, 50 days after Passover. This is when the early wheat harvest came in. You give the first fruits to Yah, not the leftovers. Proverbs 3:9 says, honor Yah with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. But most of you give your last fruits of anything at all. You pay all your bills, buy all your wants. Then if there's anything left, you might drop $1 in the offering plate. That's backwards. The first fruit, family, means Yah gets the first and the best. Your first paycheck, the first of your time, the first of your energy. 2025, this is relevant today. Even more now. Our people are the last economically, but the scripture says the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Matthew 19:30. When we start honoring Yah with our first fruits, we'll see economic transformation. The second part of verse 16. In the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year when thou hast gathered in thy labors of the field. The Feast of Ingathering, also called Sukkot or Tabernacles, family, celebrating the final harvest, is what we just celebrated. This is the fall, September, October. This feast is prophetic because it represents the final gathering of Israel from the four corners of the earth. Deuteronomy 30:3-4 says that when Yah, thy Elohim, will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither Yah thy Elohim hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will Yah thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. We're scattered now, family, Negroes in every nation under the sun, just like the curse told us in Deuteronomy 28:64. But the Feast of Tabernacles points us to our gathering, when Yahushua, who is Yah, returns. He's gathered us back to the land. During this feast, you live in temporary shelters for 7 days. Remembering that we are pilgrims here. The world is not our home. Symbolically, family. Don't have to do that literally now. But if you want to, you could do it. Verse 17. 3 times in the year, all thy males shall appear before Yah Elohim. 3 times a year, all males will appear before Yah in Jerusalem. But we're scattered. We can't go to Jerusalem. And even if we could, it's occupied by people who aren't us right now. So how do we keep the feast? We keep them where we are. We gather as families and communities. We rest from work. We teach our children. We eat the prescribed meals. We remember our history and our future. But most of you don't even know about these feasts because your pastor never taught you, because he's too busy preparing for his Christmas sermon. Whoops-a-daisy. You know it's true. Verse 18. No leaven with blood, no overnight fat. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. This is about the Passover sacrifice. No leaven representing sin with the blood of the sacrifice. This points to Yahushua. He was the Passover lamb, sacrificed without sin. Hebrews 4:15 says, for we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. And the fat couldn't remain until morning. It had to be fully consumed, which represents complete dedication. You can't be lukewarm with Yah. He will spit you out, as he said in Revelation 3:16. How many of you are lukewarm right now? One foot in the world, one foot trying to serve Yah. That's leaven with the sacrifice. That's leaving the fat until morning. Yah wants all of you or none of you at all. Verse 19, first part. The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of Yah thy Elohim. Again with the first fruits, the first and the best goes to Yah's house. In ancient Israel, this meant the temple. Today, there is no physical temple, but where 2 or 3 are gathered in Yahushua's name, there he is. The house of Yah is where his people gather in truth. This means supporting true teachers, supporting your community, supporting the advancement of the kingdom, not enriching these pimp preachers with their private jets, but actual kingdom work. Malachi 3:10, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, saith Yah of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. But this gets abused today. Pastors use this to guilt you into giving while they're living in mansions. The storehouse was for feeding the Levites who had no inheritance of land, and the poor, widows, and orphans, the people that they despise and spit on in these churches. When you need money for rent, they tell you, oh, we'll pray for you, sister. All those tithes are supposed to go to the people in need in the church. And it's supposed to go to your second Bentley, pastor. But it's all good. The Most High is going to destroy all that real soon. Because if your church ain't feeding the poor, clothing the naked, housing the homeless, educating the children in actual truth, telling the Negroes who they are as a people, then it ain't in Yah's house. It's a social club with a cross on it. Whoopsie daisy. Last part of verse 19. Thou shalt not seethe the kid in his mother's milk. Meaning, don't boil a young goat in its mother's milk. This seems random, but it's deep. Why? Because this was a pagan Canaanite ritual practice. They would boil a young goat in its mother's milk as an offering to their fertility gods. Yah is saying, don't do what the heathens do. But symbolically, family, what it's saying, this is about perverting the natural order. The mother's milk is meant to nourish the kid, not to cook it. Don't take what's meant for life and use it for death. How many of our people are doing this today? Taking the gifts Yah gave them, music, dance, athleticism, intelligence, and using them to promote death, destruction, and degeneracy. Rap music, originally a voice for the oppressed, now promotes murder, drug dealing, and sexual immorality. That's boiling a kid in his mother's milk, family. Our women, created to be mothers and nurturers, now aborting babies at alarming rates. Black women in America have the highest abortion rate, accounting for 38% of all abortions, while being only 13% of the population. This is back in 2023 data. That's boiling the kid in his mother's milk. Our churches, supposed to be the houses of truth, now promoting false doctrines, prosperity gospel, homosexuality, acceptance. That's boiling the kid in his mother's milk. This command also became the basis for not mixing meat and dairy in traditional Jewish kosher law. But the deeper meaning is, don't pervert what Yah created for good. 20 to 23. Verse 20, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I prepared. Yah sent an angel, messenger, before Israel to lead them to the promised land. Now, who was this angel? This was the pre-incarnate Yahushua. This was Yah himself in angelic form. Remember, Yahushua is Yah in the flesh. Before he became in flesh, he appeared in various forms. This is the same angel that appeared to Moses in the burning bush, Exodus 3. The same that led them with a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night, back in Exodus 13. Exodus 14:19 says, and the angel of Yah, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went before them in their face, and stood behind them. This angel had Yah's name in him. You're going to see it, verse 21. For us today, Yahushua is still leading us. He's guiding us out of the spiritual Egypt, this Babylonian system we in. Through the wilderness, this time of learning and purification. That's what all this struggling is, family. The Most High is refining you. So you are ready to go to the promised land when he returns. This is why all the struggle is for, family. He is purifying you right now into the promised land, the kingdom when he returns. Verse 21, beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Obey his voice. Don't provoke him. Why? Because his name is in him. This is Yah speaking about the angel, saying, my name is in him. This confirms this isn't just any angel. This is Yah himself manifested. And he says he will not pardon your transgressions if you provoke him. This isn't about cheap grace. This is about obedience. The Israelites in the wilderness provoked him over and over, complaining about food, water, wanting to go back to Egypt. And what happened? That entire generation died in the wilderness. Only their children entered the promised land. We see in Numbers 14, 22, and 23. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my workers, my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it. How many of us Negroes today are provoking Yah, constantly disobeying, making excuses, rebelling against his commandments, then wondering why you are still suffering? Verse 22, but if thou shalt indeed obey his voice, and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. If you obey, then Yah will fight your battles. Let that sink in. If we, the Negro Israelites of this earth that are scattered across the globe, will just obey Yah's voice, he will be an enemy to our enemies. Who are our enemies, family? The systems of white supremacy, the structures of economic oppression, the governments that abuse us, the corporations that exploit us. Yah would be their enemy if we would just obey. If you would just obey. But we are too busy trying to fight with protests, with hashtags, with politics, with everything except obedience to Yah's law. Second Chronicles 20:15 says, thus saith Yah unto you, be not afraid, nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but Yah's. Imagine if every Negro in America, Caribbean, South America, Africa, Europe, everywhere we're scattered, turned to Yah's law and obey. The entire global power structure would collapse because Yah would fight against it. Verse 23, for mine angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. The angel will lead them in and cut off the enemies. These nations that you just mentioned, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, Jebusites, occupied the promised land. They had to be removed for Israel to possess their inheritance. Who occupies our promised land today? False doctrines occupy our minds. Poverty occupies our communities. Self-hatred occupies our hearts. Idolatry occupies our worship. When we obey and allow Yahushua, Yah, to lead us, he will cut off everything occupying the space that belongs to us. In verses 24 and 25, verse 24, thou shalt not bow to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their image. A complete rejection of pagan culture. But what are we doing today in 2025, family? Celebrating their holidays, bowing to their economic system, serving their agendas, copying their fashion, their music, their values. Every time you put up a Christmas tree, a pagan symbol from Germanic winter solstice celebrations, you are doing it after their work. Every time you prioritize materialism over spirituality, you are serving their gods. Jeremiah 10, 2-4 described the Christmas tree centuries before it became a Christian tradition. Thus saith Yah, learn not the way of the heathen, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that have moved not. And we're supposed to utterly overthrow and quite break down their images here. Get that stuff out your house. Break down the false images, the statues of white Jesus, which is Caesar Borgia, a Renaissance Italian. The crosses, instruments of Roman execution, not symbols of worship, people. Most High saying destroy all of it. Verse 25, and ye shall serve YAH your Elohim, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Serve YAH only. And watch what happens. Bless food, bless water, no sickness. Because our people are sick today, ain't we? Diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, cancer, all the epidemic levels in Negro communities worldwide. It was reported back in 2024 that Americans have the highest rates of hypertension in the world. 58% of black men and 56% of black women. Why? We're eating garbage. We're drinking poison. We're not serving YAH. The scripture says he shall bless thy bread. But we're eating bread full of GMOs, preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, and chemicals. That's not blessed bread. And thy water. But we're drinking fluoridated tap water, contaminated with lead like Flint, Michigan from 2024 or 2014 and still going on today. Water from plastic bottles full of microplastics. And the diet laws in Leviticus 11. Don't eat pork, shellfish, scavengers. We ignore them, then wonder why we're sick. When you serve YAH and obey his dietary laws, he promises to take sickness away from the midst of thee. Simple, family. Deuteronomy 7, 12 through 15 says this. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that YAH the Elohim shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee, and bless thee, and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep, and the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people, family. That's everybody on this earth. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And the YAH will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. The curses are on us, family, but when we come back to the Most High, when he turns back, all these curses are going to go on them, and they're going to feel what it is to be a nigga. For real. For eternity. As they serve us. Verses 26 to 28, blessings of obedience. So verse 26 says, there shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. No miscarriages, no barrenness, long life. But what's happening to our people today? Black women in America are 2 to 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white women. Our babies are dying. Black infant mortality in the U.S. is more than double that of white infants. 10.6 deaths per 1,000 live births compared to 4.4 for white people. Our children are dying. Why? Because we're under the curses, not the blessings. We're forsaking YAH's covenant. Deuteronomy 28:18, the curses says, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. But when we return to obedience, we get verse 4 of the blessings. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. And the number of days I will fulfill is long life, family. But our men are dying young. Gun violence, police brutality, incarceration, stress-related diseases, and 2024, last year, family. The life expectancy for black men in America is 72 years compared to 78 for white men. We're not fulfilling our days because we are not in covenant obedience. Verse 27 here says, I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and I will make all thine enemies turn their backs into thee. This happened when Israel entered Canaan under Joshua. Rahab the Canaanite said, I know that YAH hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how YAH dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and our hearts did melt, neither did remain any more courage in any man because of you. For YAH your Elohim, he is YAH in heaven above and in earth beneath. They were terrified before Israel even arrived. That's YAH sending his fear before them. When we get right with Yah, the same thing will happen. The systems that oppress us will collapse. Our enemies will flee, not because of our power, but because of Yah's power operating through our obedience. Verse 28, and I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before thee. Hornets, family, literal hornets or symbolic judgments. Either way, Yah fights for Israel when they obey. Joshua 24:12 said, and I sent the hornet before you, which drave them out before you, even the 2 kings of the Amorites, but not with thy sword, nor with thy bow. It wasn't Israel's military might. It was Yah's supernatural intervention. We don't need guns, family. We don't need money. We don't need political power. We need obedience. Then Yah will send the hornets, his judgments, to clear out the path. You don't need all that shit, family. All you need to do is obey Yah. He will do everything else. Vengeance is his. He gonna take care of them, family. All he needs you to do is obey. That's all he asking for. Simple shit. But we can't even do that. 29 through 30. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year. Verse 29. Lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. Yah wouldn't give them all the land at once. Why? Because they weren't ready to manage it all. If the enemies were removed too quickly, the land will become desolate and dangerous. Why? Because sometimes Yah delays our blessings because we're not ready to handle them. It's gradual. How many of you are crying for wealth, but you can't even manage the little you have now? How many of you are praying for a spouse, but you're not spiritually mature enough to lead or support a family? That's what happened with me. He had to gradually get me to that point to be able to provide for a wife, which I have now. I had to be led to that point. I wasn't ready, even though I was saying that's what I wanted. The Most High knew I wasn't ready, but he had to gradually get me to that point, to that mindset. And now that I am here, boom, wife now. Now I can apply the mindset that he has given me to our marriage. Now I know what to do. Now I know how to behave. Now I know what my role is. And the same thing with my wife. She had to be led to that mindset. She had to grow into that mindset. She had to mature. And now that we are together, we fulfill the roles that the Most High has given us. Now we can use this wisdom that he's given us to operate in our marriage the way that the Most High wants us to operate. And that goes the same thing for all you Israelites out there. We saw countless lottery winners last year, family. Many of them black, who won millions and were broke within years. Why? They got it all at once and weren't prepared for it mentally or spiritually. Verse 30, by little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased and inherit the land. Little by little, gradual growth, progressive victory. This is the process of sanctification, of refinement, family. You're not going to overcome all your sins overnight. You're not going to learn all the truth in a week. You're not going to build the kingdom in a month. It's little by little, line upon line, precept upon precept. So stop getting frustrated with the process. A lot of y'all are trying to quicken and hasten the Most High's timeline. That's not going to work. You ain't ready for what he has for you yet. You got to wait. Be patient, just like I had to be patient. Yah is growing you so you can handle the inheritance that he has for you. I promise you, it will be worth the wait. Verse 31 to 33, finishing it up. 31 says, and I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. So Yah set boundaries for the land, from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean, the Philistine Sea, from the wilderness to the Euphrates River. This was Israel's promised inheritance, a specific geographic location, not heaven or some spiritual metaphor. Same thing it says in Genesis 15 through 18 when he told Abraham. In the same day Yah made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. But we've never fully possessed all this land because we've never fully obeyed. Even under Solomon, at Israel's height, we didn't control all of it. But prophecy says we will. When Yahushua returns, we will possess all our promised inheritance and more. It says in Isaiah 54, 2 and 3. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left. And thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make desolate cities to be inhabited. Verse 32 of Exodus. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. Don't make agreements with wickedness. Don't make treaties with evil. But what have we done today? We've integrated into this Babylonian system. We've made covenants with their corporations, employment contracts that exploit us, their governments, citizenship in nations that enslave us, their religions, denominations that teach lies to our people. Paul says in 2 Corinthians 6, 14 through 17, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of Yah with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim. As Yah said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith Yah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Verse 33, they shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto you. But Israel didn't listen to that, family. They let the Canaanites remain, and what happened? Judges 2, 11 to 13. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yah, and served Baalim. And they forsook Yah, Elohim of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked Yah to anger. And they forsook Yah, and served Baal and Ashtaroth. The same thing happens to us today. We let false doctrine dwell in our minds, and it makes us sin. We let worldly influence dwell in our homes, and they become a snare. Clean house, get the idols out. Get the false teaching out. Get the wickedness out. So Exodus 23 is not ancient history, family. This is current events. These laws, statutes, and judgments are active and relevant even today. We are still under this covenant. The blood of Yahushua. Remember, he's Yah in the flesh, not another being. He renewed it, strengthened it, wrote it on our hearts, as it says in Hebrews 8 and 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after these days, saith Yah. I will put my law into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them an Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. Every verse we covered today has a modern application. Stop lying and bearing false witness. That's social media slander. Calling police on our people. Don't follow the crowd to do evil. That's mob mentality today. Destructive protests today. Help even your enemies when they struggle. Showing humanity even to those who hate us. Fight for justice for the poor. Ending cash bail. Fighting systemic oppression. And when I say help your enemies, family, you're talking about our people. Fuck other people. You want to help them? Hey, that's on you. But we don't have to. He's talking about our people here. These are the enemies he's talking about to help. It says protect the innocent, ending the murder of our people by police and systems today. Refuse bribes, rejecting political corruption, refusing to sell out. Don't oppress strangers, treating immigrants with dignity, even your people. Rest on the Sabbath, Saturday, not Sunday. Trust in Yah over this system. Keep Yah's feasts, Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles, not Christmas and Easter. Give Yah the first fruits, our first and best, not leftovers. Obey Yah's voice through his angel. Following the commandments. Serve Yah only, destroying false worship, idols, and images. When we do these things, the promises kick in. Blessed food and water, no sickness, no miscarriages or barrenness, long life, enemies fearing or fleeing in fear. Gradual possession of our inheritance. Complete dominion when Yahushua returns. But if we don't obey, we stay under the curses of Deuteronomy 28:15-68, which is exactly where we are now. Because the choice is ours, family. Deuteronomy 30:19, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, and I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Choose life. Choose obedience. Choose YAH. But here's the kicker, family. You can't choose YAH. He got to be the one to choose you. That's the one. That's the hard thing about this. YAH says choose to hold you accountable, but he's the one who does the choosing. You can't choose life. Only he can quicken your spirit to choose life. By default, you choose death because that's what your flesh craves. It craves sin, which is death. Only the Most High can quicken your spirit. And who has the spirit, family? Black people. So he only doing this to black people. All those white folks that say they got the spirit, they lying to all of y'all. They don't have no Holy Spirit to quicken. So all they doing is deluding themselves. It's all an illusion. They think they're saved. But many gonna say, Lord, Lord, I prophesy in thy name. You're gonna say, I don't know you. And even amongst our own people, we got a lot of people that think they saved and they nowhere near it. Nowhere near salvation. They don't even know who they are as an Israelite, but they say they saved. How? You calling them Jesus? So stop waiting for a political savior in this system today. Stop waiting for a social movement. Stop waiting for economic programs. Return to YAH's law and watch him move on your behalf. When YAH returns, and he is returning, he's setting up the kingdom with us, the Negroes, ruling and reigning with him. Daniel 7:27, I remind you with this. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. That's you, black people, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. That's our future if we obey. Now get up off your ass, stop making excuses, stop blaming everybody else for your condition, and start obeying. So shalom to the remnant across the earth. To my brothers and sisters in Brazil, Jamaica, South Africa, America, England, France, everywhere. Wake up! We are Israel. This is our book. This is our laws. This is our Elohim. The time is now. And with that, I end my sermon, family. All praise and great glory to the Most High YAH. I pray you guys are spiritually edified. The one person, whoever finds this. May the Most High continue to keep the remnant around the world. To keep us in these laws. To keep us protected from this Babylonian system. I pray you guys have a good week. I love y'all, family. Y'all willing, next week we'll be back doing Exodus 24. Y'all be easy. Love y'all.
Everybody talk about judgment, but nobody want to look in the mirror. You running from the truth like you can hide from YAH, but the fire don't start with them. It starts with us. Israel, it's time to face it. Nations talking about their sin, but your hands ain't clean. You still blending in. You act like you righteous, got the fringes on your shirt, but your heart stay cold and your motives all dirt. Hypocrite spirit, love to shout, love to teach, but when the lights off, do you practice what you preach? You gossip and slander, you envy your kin, forgetting it's Israel where judgment began. You brag on your lineage, you boast in your tribe, but you ain't impressed with your bloodline pride. He want obedience, faith, and a contrite heart, not a fake outward show. temple, but your mind in the street. You talk about the law, but you're walking complete. You love to correct, but you hate correction. You quick with the curse, but you run from reflection. Woo!
Judgment begins at home. Don't point the finger, look at your own. Let the fire burn, let the truth be known. Israel, repent before the seeds are sown. Judgment begins at home. We set the standard, we set the tone. Get your heart right, get your mind grown. Yah's eyes on us, we can't atone with stone.
You quick to condemn, but you slow to forgive. You say about life, but you hate how you live. You fast for applause, you pray for the show, but when your brother need love, you the first to say no. You hold on to grudges, you plot and you scheme. You sabotage others just to push your own dream. You hide behind doctrine, you twist up the scroll, but your actions expose what's deep in your soul. Yeah, see the secrets, the mask and the lies. He's sifting the wheat, he exposing the spies. No scapegoats allowed, no blame to the rest. It's Israel in the furnace, he purifying the best. Yeah, you want dominion, you want the crown, but you can't humble down, you just tear others down. Confess and repent, let the pride be slain, cause judgment is here, and it starts in the flame. Yeah!
Judgment begins at home. Don't point the finger, look at your own. Let the fire burn, let the truth be known. Israel, repent before the seeds are sown. Judgment begins at home. We set the standard, we set the tone. Get your heart right, get your mind grown. Yah's eyes on us, we can't atone with stone.
It ain't about the nations, they don't even know the law. But you got the covenant, you got the light, you got the promise and the curse. You got the blood of the prophets in your veins. You can't blame nobody when the hammer falls. Get your house in order, Israel.